Today, I'm going to show you guys how to make a PMC in Lego. Before we make a PMC, let's learn about what is a PMC.
PMC means private military company. Basically, a business that specializes in hiring professional soldiers, typically with prior military experience, and they go around selling services such as security, logistics, training, or just straight up boots on the ground on the battlefield. Not to be confused with mercenaries, who are similar, but mercenaries are individuals hired for private gain and often unregulated, whereas PMCs are established legal companies that provide military and security services and are typically regulated by their home countries, though there have been times in the past where that hasn't always been the case. So first step to creating your PMC is deciding on its origin. Now, you could just simply want to make a goofy group of dudes that are a PMC, or maybe you want to try making a sci-fi PMC, a post-apocalyptic PMC, or maybe it's set in the real world. You know, it's up for you to decide. But typically in the real world, regardless of where a PMC is based out of, even though it's not affiliated with any government or military, they do typically structure themselves around the military system in their country of origin. So, for example, Shadow Company is an American-based PMC, and its structure follows the U.S. military doctrine. In the way their ranks set up, the kind of equipment they use, their tactics, because it's an American-based PMC made up of primarily former U.S. military personnel. Something else to consider when making your PMC is what kind of PMC is it? Is it more corporate-based, like Umbrella Corporation or Atlas? Do they have other focuses other than just strictly, private military work? Or is it more like USEC or Shadow Company, where the primary focus is selling services in the battlefield? Or maybe you don't care and you wish I would shut up and get to the part where we start making figures, which we're going to do now. So as an example, I'll be making a figure similarly styled to my own Anvil PMC figures. So what you want to do is you just want to start off with a set of legs. If you're going for like more of a forest kind of PMC, use green or brown. If you're going for like Spec Ops, use black. But for this one, we're going to be using tan. So you start off with a set of tan legs. You can get these from Lego. And then you just, throw on a tan torso. Really anything you want to. Doesn't really matter. And I recommend using brick arms just because Lego doesn't really offer too much, but if you do have official parts you want to use, you can totally do that too. So throw on your vest, throw on whatever head you want. Like I said, I recommend the brick arms helmets. They're cheap, they're inexpensive, but you can use anything you have, that's up to you. And then I also would recommend using brick arms for the weapons, but again, that's up to you. You can use official Lego. But if you want to make it fancier, you can give it a printed vest, you can give it a printed realistic head, you can give it a fancier helmet such as this one from Brickmania, and then you can give it a printed brick arms. But it's up to you, you have the creative freedom to do what you want. That is the fun part at the end of the day. Or if you have pieces from other figures laying around, you can throw together something that looks a little nicer with printed legs and torsos and heads and all that fancy stuff. Like for example this, it utilizes TMC pieces, Brick Warp piece, some Brickmania pieces, Forest Moon pieces, just a little bit of everything. But yeah, you can really get creative and throw together some stuff like this. Another option is you can always use sticker packs from companies like Brickmania. They offer packs that have uniforms, body armor, sometimes even like different things like magazine pouches and pistol holsters. So you can always go that route, and you can just throw it over any of your pre-existing figures, which is pretty nice and simple and affordable. Something else fun to do is creating a rival faction to go against your PMC. You can really make anything you want to, but for me personally, my rival faction is the Takistani Army, which is from my Arma server, though originally they originate from Arma 2. Something else you'll need a lot of is gun. And as I've previously mentioned, I recommend brick arms, but also recommend companies like Brick Tactical, Brick Forge, or you could simply just make your own out of Lego. Something else you'll need for your PMC is transportation. Now, this entirely depends on when and where your PMC is set at, but for me personally, mine is set during the global war on terrorism. So, an example of one of the vehicles I'm using is this Humvee. It has no top, no armor, just straight up, plain old Humvee. I'm using this just because, to me, it's a very PMC vehicle, you know. And then another vehicle I'm using is this gray UTV, which it is kind of similar to the Humvee. It, you know, same concept, just kind of lightly armored, fast, you know, just basic transportation, nothing overly crazy. Though I am wanting to get something along the lines of a Ford Excursion or a F-250, though I haven't found a good model yet that I really like. And with all that said, you're almost ready to go, but one last thing you should do is just pack some supplies. You know, you can never be too safe. But now you'll be ready to face zombies, fight aliens on Mars, robots, you name it, you'll be ready for it. And that pretty much concludes this video. I don't really know if you'd call it a tutorial or what, but the main thing is just have fun, make whatever you want, make it silly, make it goofy, make it realistic, whatever you want to do. The main thing is have fun, you know, make your own, buy your own, just have fun. That's the main thing, first and foremost. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching.